We're in the heart of the Gloucestershire countryside, the home of one of the most successful sporting colleges that England can boast. From their top four pushing women's Premier 15 side, their Bucks winning university team, to the focus of our attention today, a Hartpury RFC side who can take a great deal of pride from their first season in English rugby second tier. It's a very good afternoon from Hartpury College as we spend a final couple of hours in the Greene King IPA Championship for the season. And the visitors today, well, they celebrated the title after a huge win against Doncaster at Ashton Gate, and now Pat Lamb's men are here to play their last match before the Gallagher Premiership beckons, and of course it beckons for them as the Bristol Bears. Here to join us for this one. He's not playing.
I'm not playing.
Nearly got him going. It's former England scrum half Dowie Morris. Dowie, Bristol Bears, dislike?
I like, actually. I think it's like the Sale Sharks. People say there's no bears in Bristol, there's no sharks in Manchester. But I did ask the question to Tom Tatum, the media guy, and I said, why the Bears? He said Steve Lansdowne wanted it, the benefactor, and if he's going to put £8 million or so, or invest £8 million, that's probably what he'll take each year. He can call his club what he wants.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it is happening. Just go for it, I say. Which is, that's what they've done in the league this season. 20 wins, 98 points, and in round 21, well, they were at Ashton Gate for a chance to lift the trophy and also celebrate and pay tribute to this man. David Lemmy.
He has lit up rugby fields all over the country. Exciting,
a great man.
unpredictable.
Fantastic, 30 years young. The Chief is his nickname. 54 appearances for Samoa, 65 points, and I think 140th appearance for Bristol today. A living legend. Legend is an overused word, not in this sense.
And Bristol ensured the party started on the pitch, winning 68-10. Here are the highlights.
The party starts with a try. Offside, Doncaster here though. Madigan, Bristol looking for more though. Pietau. Williams floats it over the top to Morahan. Slightly simpler than last week's. Cortez, who's already scored one. Tonguia has missed. Madigan uses his feet. Madigan tries to get the pass to Lemmy, and it's Tonguia. '27th minute. Ashton Gate rises as one in celebratory applause for the life of Ian Williams. Just 27 when he was cruelly taken. Retired the number 3 shirt, IW initials on the shirt to the Doncaster players. Pietau, Morahan stepping and then going. He's put the foot down. Now it's a step. Morahan, that is a superb score. Just loves scoring tries, the Australian. Don't forget, Rodri Williams, so he's skipping out of the tackles. Try number 5. Do I need to tip that ball? Or is it? It is. Doing his best David Lemmy impression. Crane, his numbers out wide, they're just lining up, just needed a sympathetic pass. Morahan chips it ahead, tries to Lewis, committed to the tackle, he dropped the ball, and he dropped over. Pietau. The Doncaster have let them do it or not, you've still got to play what's in front of you, and that's superb. Playing what's in front of them, Morahan. Just gives it to Rodri Williams on a play. Terrell, what tracking back for the A, but it's there again for Jeffries.
Moving John Thomas to look after the forwards. Muldoon obviously cheats the centre under Patrick Connick, and they're off again. Hammond
Hartpury Williams this time, using his pace, giving it. Liua adds his name to the ever-increasing score sheet tonight. Madigan. It's not if they score, it's when. Morahan again. There's the hat-trick.
And smashing into a Bristol player. But again, the movement still goes on. Oh.
Jordan Williams is away. Levy's outside. Hartpury Williams is inside. He doesn't look around for Levy. He scores it himself.
You sure this time?
You're turnover clip. Oh, he's given the intercept to Morahan. Fourth try for Luke Morahan.
Happy birthday rings out at Ashton Gate.
Well, we saw the moving tribute in the 27th minute to Doncaster's Ian Williams. This was the Welsh varsity final on Wednesday as they retire the number 3 shirt out of respect for the great man's passing. Richard Lancaster's head of development and engagement at Swansea University, former Swansea University rugby coach of Williams. He spoke how proud they were of his achievements, and our thoughts, of course, continue to go to Ian's friends and family. So great to see that respect paid, and well, the results from round 21, and well, the most notable of them perhaps relative to the table at this stage was London Scottish's 30 points to 29 win over Richmond. Of course, we got the 68 points to 10 win that we saw from Bristol over Donny, but a great 1 point win there for London Scottish, and it's kept them sneaking right up behind Hartpury, who, you know, are going to find it difficult this afternoon, Dowie Morris, but will be certainly pleased with how they performed in that round 1 fixture and be looking to kick on from there.
Well, that's right. They were leading actually at half-time. I think it was 8 points to 7. It was a bit of a wet day down at Ashton Gate. First kick-off, first kick of the season in round 1. But you've got to say that they are a tremendous story. And people who want to ring-fence the Premiership, I just harken back. They've had 13 seasons in the leagues and have gone up 9 times. And look, they're quite happy to be a feeder club. It's a fantastic atmosphere around here. This is a proper sort of hotbed of talent, and they don't mind players going up to the Premiership. Harry Randall obviously is signed. He's on loan with Gloucester to Hartpury, and he's now going to go to Bristol next year, so he's playing against his employees today. And it's just a great story, and I love it. And they're a great bunch of lads, well coached, and some fantastic players. Yeah,
Hartpury then this afternoon aiming for a 10th placed finish. They'd like not to slide to 11th and swap with London Scottish, but well, it takes nothing away from their achievements this season. Rotherham Sightons rather put themselves forward for the drop, really. Such have been their performances this season, with Coventry going to be coming up the other way.
Yeah, it's sad because I like Rotherham as a club, and you know, all those great times that we've had up there covering them with Lee Blackett when he was in charge. Obviously he's gone to Wasps now, and unfortunately they've fallen down. Hopefully they'll come back refreshed, but we'll see what Coventry have got. We believe they've got the checkbook out, and we'll have to see what's happening. But it's nice that I think Hartpury have consolidated their place, almost what I'd want Bristol to do when they go into the Premiership for next year. You know, they finished 10th this year. I think Bristol would bite your hand off for that next year. Yeah,
certainly will do in the new Gallagher Premiership. OK, well, we can hear from the 2 coaches who've been getting these sides ready as kick-off approaches. Well, John, last game of the season. The crowds are expected to be turning out in force. How's the week been?
It's been a good week. I think it's been an exciting week for us. This is one of the great reasons why we came into the Championship, to play teams like Bristol, and you know, it should be a great crowd today, and hopefully the rain holds off and it'll be a good occasion.
You gave a good account of yourselves in that opening game of the season. I understand it's about trying to replicate that sort of attitude, that sort of positivity.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to get players motivated for games like this. So the players are really well prepared, and mentally and physically, and yeah, first game of the season certainly helped us in our quest in the Championship, and it shows that we can compete at this level even with the better teams, so hopefully the same today.
Yeah, no struggle to get up for Bristol. I mean, is there any lack of focus or something you have to work on in terms of players perhaps having one foot on the beach knowing the end of the season's coming?
Not really. I think, as I said, it's a good fixture for us to have last game. It keeps guys motivated. Everyone wanted to play. Suddenly everyone becomes fit, and the guys are raring to go, so they can't wait to get out there.
And for all those tuning in then, what can we expect from Hartpury? What sort of players do you believe are on form at the minute and that we can be looking out for?
I think we're playing exciting brand of rugby. We still try to. Certainly Harry Randall at 9, who's obviously off his way to Bristol next season, will be. He's been a great player for us over many years now, since he was 16, and hopefully it'll be a great swan song for him to perform well against his future clubs. So he's one to look at.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we're really looking forward to the game, and the atmosphere's certainly building nicely.
Thanks very much, Nick. Cheers.
Well, Pat, how's the week been? You've obviously had cause to celebrate having won the championship, but a job still to do with the last game of the season.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, and we said on the Monday we came back to work at 7:40 in the morning. Well done, bit of history, move on now. And we had 4 weeks training last week and another 4 weeks this week. So obviously there's a few little changes that we've made, but you know, the way we work is next guy steps in and does the job. It's a team game and understanding that. So some great opportunities for some guys, and we're excited by the game today.
Over the course of the season, you wouldn't necessarily have known how that first game was going to compare, but actually Hartpury turned out to be one of those sides that drove you pretty close in that opening round.
Yeah, I mean, rugby's about teamwork, and obviously they've been a very successful team coming through the chip, and you know, well coached and pretty settled. So it just showed again that you know, we were still playing as individuals. We're still getting used to the game that we wanted to get to, but we've certainly come a long way since round one. And but we're under no illusions today. It's a big day for them. Great crowd, and they'll be fired up. So it really comes down to our teamwork.
There are plenty of big names coming to Bristol. There have been plenty that have been big for you all season. You've got a healthy contingent of English players in there as well, though, and that's going to be key to your success next season as well, isn't it?
Well, it's huge. You know, it's a big part of our vision of our players playing for England. And you know, the squad this year has only been 50% English qualified players, whereas next year we go way over 70%, which is great. And it's, once you put it as part of the division, yeah, all your decisions are made around that, and we're making sure that if you're not English, then it's important that you're very good.
Finally then, who can those watching on the live stream look out for this afternoon in this match?
Well, I think the big thing to watch is probably our structure, our teamwork. You know, we put more emphasis on what we do off the ball to ensure that we can play a good style of rugby. And so it's not necessarily about the individual, it's about the individual getting his job, and individuals make their teammates look good. So, so ultimately it's you know, keep an eye on the work we do off the ball.
Excellent. So good to hear from both sides as we get ever closer to kick-off here. And, well, we can run through the Hartpury lineup, naming a strong-looking 22 with the return of centre Steve Leonard as the major team news. Injured in the opening match of the season at Bristol. He's only played 40 minutes of rugby since then. Joining him in the back line is Tom Seabrook, who will be wearing 14. England under-20s winger and former Bristol centre Luke Eves there. At 9, well, Harry Randall will be hoping to impress his new coaches. Off to Ashton Gate, as Dowie Morris mentioned a few minutes ago over the summer. And up front, the double Gloucester pairing of props Harden and Murphy. Also, Rhys Oakley, who's back from injury, to captain from the second row, while Ian Grieve is another former Bristol man in the back row. For Bristol, well, Pat Lamb makes 5 changes from the Doncaster romp. Will Hurrell is in to make his first league start since December. Academy graduate trio Ryan Edwards, Callum Sheedy and Andy Uren also come into the back line as Bristol target 100% away record for the campaign. There's also been a late change to the announced team there. Number 12, Tusi Pisi, is out, so Jack Tovey is in there, the man who's made over 170 appearances for the club. In the only change to the pack, Loney prop James Lay is included in the front row, while Sam Graham retains his place in the back row following an impressive league debut. Jordan Crane skippers from number 8, while the likes of Song Suwani, Tonga Weir and David Lemmy, 2 of the high-profile men playing their last games in Bristol club colours. And the replacements looking to make their impact. Likes of Sam Leeming looking to play his first championship game. And Jack Capon, number 19 for Bristol. Earlier in the season became the 6th brotherly pair to have played for Bristol when he made his competitive debut in October with brother Will. And Dowie Morris, great that when we get to this end of a season, we know that the title's been won by Bristol, but well, we've got a capacity sellout here at Hartpury. The temporary stands are up and everybody's here for an end of season jolly.
Club, and it's just great. I think 2,300, and it's a celebration, I think, from both sides. Yes, Bristol had one foot in the Premiership, as I said, well, before the ball was kicked, really, with the financial backing and also the coaching staff or whatever. But equally for Hartpury, the great story, you know, they've consolidated. They finished 10th. They actually, you know, could have won another 4 or 5 games, losing, but the last sort of kick of the game. But that's the sort of situation they're in the rarefied air of the Championship. They're learning week in, week out, and it's just nice. So all these crowd have come. I've just seen 2 of my old mates, Steve Blakeway and Mike Teague, down in the Guinness bar. I should say that. There are other stout bars they can go to, but they're down there. They try to collar me for a pint. I said after the game. So it's good. It's a good old traditional sort of southwest crowd here, and they're looking forward to a fantastic game.
Well, great to have your company here on the live stream, whether you're watching through the England Rugby Facebook page or on championshiprugby.co.uk as the Bristol coach Pat Lamb just makes his way past us. Was there enough room for the pair of you there,
Just
Danny?
about, yes. It's cosy here. It's about 7 degrees, so it's warming up nicely. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a traditional old rugby ground. It's lovely.
Huddled in like penguins. Yeah, it's certainly a chilly afternoon in the Gloucestershire countryside. Just about 7 or 8 degrees, but there's been a little bit of light rain earlier, but I think we might be set for a dry match.
Well, hopefully, yeah. It's not the best conditions for April. What are we, 28th now? My goodness me. I did look at the forecast this morning thinking I could come down in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and I should have put my thermals on. But it's a warm atmosphere, and I think we're going to see a heck of a cracking game today. Again, both sides, there's nothing to win or lose, really. They've done their jobs throughout the season. Like I said, Bristol happily promoted up to the Premiership, and Hartpury again have been a fantastic story. Those 13 seasons, 9 promotions within that, and they've cemented themselves in the Champo.
And I mentioned it in my interview with Pat Lamb. I mean, for all the headlines for the likes of Charles Piatow coming in and the sort of big names and the Islanders and what have you, actually one of the major missions for Bristol going into next season is to do a bit of an Exeter Chiefs all those years ago and bring the greatest hits of the Championship together in order to have a solid rear guard for taking on the top teams in the country.
We've talked about it before, Nick, and I've talked to numerous people, and Martin Hines, who knows a bit of thing, the old sort of assistant coach at Bedford, and he said front 5 fatties. Very simple. Exeter said, right, okay, the first year we're going to put, we're going to get the biggest, horriblest pack, not play two great sort of aspects of rugby around the field, but actually we are going to consolidate and we're going to build, and that's exactly what they've done. And look at them now, they're winning sort of Premiership Championships, and it is the place to go. They turned a profit, and here we see Hartpury coming out. And it's again, they're Exeter are a great story and a blueprint really for every club coming up into the Premiership.
And you mentioned the front 5 that they need. They've actually got sort of back 5 issues in terms of that pack. They're without the likes of Dan Thomas, out with a knee, signed a new 2-year extension to 2021 in March. Shortlisted, of course, for the Greene King IPO Player of the Year with Ian Madigan, and then Aaron Chapman joined last summer, signed a 4-year contract. John Hawkins out with a knee, Nick Cosgrove out with a foot injury. Jason Harris right with a knee, Chris Vui ankle. I mean, the list is pretty endless in terms of the various injuries that Bristol have got as they now make their way out of the changing rooms. But they've got plenty of people coming in, as we mentioned, those solid players from the Championship, and a good spread amongst them.
And it's nice to see Hartpury as sort of a guard of honour, clapping Bristol on. They have deserved it. They've got a big budget, and they had those injuries, but they've got a massive squad, and that's what they're going to need to survive in the Premiership as well. Everyone fit and raring to go, and trying to sort of get as many early points as they can.
So our referee for this one is Christoph Ridley, assisted by Michael Patz and Nick Marshall. And Hartpury getting set to play.
They are indeed. James Williams, ex-Moseley 10, he'll be kicking things off. And it'll be very interesting, again, the set piece that Hartpury have cemented their consolidation in this Championship. It'll be up to the likes of Murphy, Tanner and Harding to really try and put Bristol under some pressure.
Kick-off made, Bristol just having to hover over it. Uren Just plays it for Sheedy, looking to find a bit of width on it. Jordan Williams, they really got on their bike against Doncaster. They are not going to want to hang around here either, Bristol. They love the opportunity to get going when it gets wide. And here it goes again through Sheedy. Closer ball for Tonga. There they go again, then looking for that little shorter ball back inside for Nick Fenton-Wells. Right in the centre of the park. Options now, and they come through Jack Tovey. Late change for Tusi Pisi, as we mentioned. Initially named at number 22. Now the ball's a little bit loose, and is this going to be an early chance for Jordan Williams? It's a good recovery from Harry Randall.
Harry Randall does that. Like I said, he is the small. I was going to say one of the small. He is the smallest person on the field, but with the biggest heart. He'll be going down to Ashton Gate next season. So Pat Lamb's on my right. He knows all about him. That's why they've signed him. He signed actually from Gloucester because he's on loan there from Hartpury, but he's an outstanding player. He's captain of Wales under-16s, then opted to go for England under-20s, played superbly there, and he's got all the skill sets for a little one. My word, he puts his heart everywhere on this field, and we've got a slight injury now to Mike Wilcock, the 15, who came in from that little chip from Edwards. He looks pretty hurt. Hopefully he can run it off.
Yeah, former Cinderford man of 5 seasons, Mike Wilcox. It was just as he went to ground to
got a knee, I think.
Try and secure that.
We've got Nick Fenton-Wells coming in just to get the call right. The referees just say slow things down. Oh, he's good. Wilcox is just hobbling back to his to the space at the back. But it's interesting to see Fenton-Wells obviously converted from back row when he was at Bedford to hooker. He thinks his future is there. He did play, I think, at youth rugby at hooker, and his darts have been a big problem this season. Not there. That's much better, Nick.
Yeah, decent start. Looking to come back against this side. It's an area where they've started to try and get a bit of luck.
You can see they come back with a big flow. Ryan Edwards there, just trying to get the ball out the back of the hand. Didn't go to script, but again, this is the key area for me, Nick. This is where they've let themselves down on a couple of occasions. That lost the jersey. They struggled against Yorkshire, then they put it back together against Nottingham, and then obviously Doncaster when they won the championship there. It comes down to this. It comes down to the platform. It doesn't matter who you've got behind for both sides. If you can't get a platform here, you're going to struggle.
Randall waits.
You can't touch him. That's the referee should have a word there with Andy Uren.
Ball just hovering for a moment. Now they get it away. Oh, it was a huge hit in the middle on Steve Leonard. Bristol saw that one coming, but Hartpury have done relatively well to control that. And again, under all sorts of pressure, and is that turnover ball? Looks like it is, and Bristol suddenly reshuffle the pack behind to make sure they're all in position for this opportunity. Stepping through the gap, Sam Jeffries. Now they come off to the right. Tonga, ball in 2 hands, takes the hit. Come again through Sheedy. Closer ball for Joe Joyce, one of the players that Pat Lamb was talking to me during the week, saying he's been really impressed with this season. And now they go short side again, popping it up for Edwards. Put that little chip through again. He's tried that a couple of times to get around Wilcox. Wilcox just getting in the channel enough to stop him.
Yeah, good movement. They're liking this right-hand side of Bristol. A lot of pressure, but again, it's coming from their forwards. Tonga in particular, he's a big carrier of the football out there. And that's what the dents happen and defences start to struggle. Fenton-Wells again. It's a great opportunity. Catch and drive. I think so. Jordan Crane again, captain on the day, and he's done superbly well the last 2 outings again against Nottingham when they really put them to the sword, and obviously Doncaster. And that's a good call, squeezing them early on, trying to get a good 5-pointer.
Yeah, they're nearly getting through here as well. Bristol, have they got the game's opening try? Yes, they have. And it looks like it might have been Andy Uren, was it? Certainly plenty of support through the middle.
It looked like, and of course, yeah, Andy Uren is the scorer there, but again, it came from a good line-out ball. Jordan Crane calling it to himself, setting up, coming off the side, and the scrum after darting over. And it was interesting, like I said, the 2 scrum halves clashing. Well, actually, Randall wasn't clashing, got pushed in it because they'll be vying for this crucial number 9 position. next season. So it's a good start from Bristol, good start from Uren, and good start from the pack.
Competition already underway for places, and the season before hasn't even finished.
Well, I believe they have got a 4-week period off, and then they're straight back into pre-season training. Oh, to be a professional rugby player.
Oh, indeed, Dowie. Sheedy with the conversion.
Apparently they do get a couple of weeks in between then before the season starts, but 4 weeks off and then you're back in. So
paid to play, that's the way of the modern professional.
Absolutely. So
try scored there from Uren as Hartpury do manage to get a finger on that and tap it back, but Bristol first to snaff it on the floor. And Bristol, where possible from these restart situations, those kickoffs, are perfectly happy to keep the ball in hand, not going for the traditional kick exit strategy. Sheedy tries to offload that, but it went off to the field as much as Ryan Edwards is going to try and pretend it didn't.
Well, he just mentioned his name, Ryan Edwards. I think he's touched the ball 4 or 5 times now. And if he had a little bit of luck, he might have scored a couple of tries. But they're really trying to get the ball to this right-hand side, stretch the defences.
Hartpury with the line straight down into the hands of Randall, and now they try and send up the first barrage of attack. Williams uses the forwards, and once again it comes to Alex Craig. Coming down onto the near side, Rupert Harden then with the carry. Complaint from Randall as to players trying to get in and seal it off. Just a show and back in field from Will Tanner. Nice bit of footwork from the hooker. And now look at a kick down to this right-hand corner. But David Lemmy is there, ready and waiting. Still in their own 22, but you see there's... Well, is that going to carry all the way? Or did that just hit the turf before it skipped out a touch on the far side? It did. So that'll work out very nicely for Bristol. I was just saying that they were keeping a lot of those sort of possessions with ball in hand, but on that occasion that was the right option, and the kick was inch perfect.
The kick was inch perfect. I'd have to sort of criticise, I think, Harry Randall a little bit for kicking possession away. If he's going to kick into that corner, that ball has to roll behind David Lemmy or put David Lemmy under pressure or go into touch. It didn't. One movement into the midfield, and then they back up to halfway. So it's the first time with Hartpury had the ball. It was nice to see the forwards touched it a few times, but actually then it was kicked away. So off they go again.
Hartpury coming round the corner, that time through Williams. Randall. Who's digging for it then. Carried on and secured by Rupert Harden. Then again Tanner, just outside the 22, middle of the field. Sheedy coming up, but it's fallen into the hands of Bristol, and it's been kicked downfield from Jordan Williams. Tom Seabrook. That has gone all the way downfield. Bristol with it just outside the 22.
They're all set up to play this all-court game that Pat Lam is so famous for. It's Tonga again. Big Lou said going through the middle, but he's lost it.
So momentary stop as Rhys Oakley gets a bit of attention. Former Bristol man himself, assisting and coaching of the British and Irish team with Johnny Goodridge and Luke Eves, and coaches the Hartpury under-18s team.
Suck in the air in both sides at the moment. Pretty pacey out there. Again, that's a decade of service at Tigers. You're going to get some experience, and very talented. Maybe it's interesting that just talking about it, possible he may end his career in the second row. He's not going to like that, but that's where he may have to go.
You feel he's big enough to be in that position?
Yeah, because again, when you're just chucking him up in the air, there's no problem at all. It wouldn't be a regular occurrence, but just in case injuries happen throughout the season. Like I said, he's not going to like it, but that was rumoured around the ground.
But again, he's got half the physiotherapist's bag on his foot.
Yeah. But again, needs must.
Chatting to John Barnes before the game, he's feeling pretty confident about the 22 that they were able to pick for the game. Scored in rude health, surprisingly, for this time of the season.
Yeah, well, I think there's 10 changes from the first game, and I did that with Sky down at Ashton Gate, and like I said, they give a very good account of themselves, and I came down to watch them train, and people thinking how they're going to go. I said, there's no problem. They picked some really good old heads. You know, you get the likes of
Bristol coming through the middle now. Harry Randall, and then gets the offload away to Rob Langley. Now down the near side, Lemmy. Going to be a popular figure, playing his last match in Bristol colours. Round the corner for Sheedy. Tonga Weir. Down to the near side again, Tuvey. Loaded onto Edwards. Now they come again through the middle, putting it round the corner for Will Hurrell. Been doing plenty of go forward, or giving plenty of go forward to Bath Rugby over the last couple of months. Played a big part in those end of season playoff games against Doncaster, but here goes Lemmy trying to get through the hole and putting other people through with a sweet offload for Joyce. Bristol making yards quite comfortably here at the minute. The tackle comes in from Dan Murphy. The referee says it was a bit of a seatbelt effort, a little bit too high from the former Gloucester man.
It was, again, it wasn't malicious. It's just one of the things, they're just trying to stop the leaking here. They're getting so much possession of Bristol, and then against the big ball carriers, you've got to have big men against it. Dan Murphy, obviously one of those, just like he said, slid up a bit, but in the modern, not the modern game, in the sort of new directives, you can't go anywhere above the shoulder, whether you ride up or not. So again, another great opportunity. Last time they did this, it was the catch and drive from Crane. You can see the big lad there. Holmes is ready to leap.
And they go.
It was Jeffries, isn't it?
Jeffries, yeah.
And here they go again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Drive it in, suck the defence in, and see where
the backs are watching on, hopefully, but the forwards have certainly got this under control at the minute. But now Randall is looking like he wants it, gets it away. Then Lemmy come in from the left wing. Hartpury hold him up. He's one of the smallest guys on the field, so the easiest to do, but now it's in the hands of Crane. Have they managed to get that ball to ground, Bristol? Yes, they have. They come again through Jeffries. Oh, the softest of hands. But in fact, the penalty has gone the other way. Didn't quite work out for them.
I think he was for crossing. I think could have on a couple of occasions there. But you can see the pressure building with all this, all the amount of possession that Bristol are able just to garner. Hartpury will take this and they'll just boot it down 20-30 yards and try and regroup. It was a good tackle from Ian Grieve initially to stop that. They just move up to halfway, so just regroup a little bit, suck it in, and just try and get your hands on the ball, Hartpury.
Early try for Bristol through scrum half Andy Uren, converted by Sheedy. That gives them the 7-point lead. And the line-out was well competed for, but Hartpury bring it down, start to try and come round into the face of Swani Tonga Weir. Oh, they've not managed to get that to ground. Bristol have done brilliantly to spoil it. They got a hand on it in the line-out, couldn't quite bring it down, but did enough to stop Hartpury creating the ruck, getting that ball to ground, and that's why that ball has been turned over.
And that's what you do. You get on a man and you target it, and those crucial turnovers give you the opportunity. You know, but Hartpury could have started to get ahead of steam up, but no, all of a sudden they've had, a good kick to touch, and they've lost that, and they've lost the momentum, and that key word that we always use in rugby union, momentum now. Andy Uren, but put the ball in tight to this right-hand side, but I'm sure the likes of Sheedy and Lemmy, who didn't get a try, unfortunately, in that last appearance down in Ashton Gate, I think he's going to get a couple today. In his 140th and last appearance, he's got to.
Open the book. Into Hurrell. Hurrell would defend. He's got such good upper body strength, Will Hurrell. And Bristol come again down the short side into the hands of Sam Graham, but again they've just fluffed their lines a little bit there, Bristol.
Just the precision, it is a little bit greasy. We had a little shower before, but nothing really that these guys should be able to handle with all the sticky stuff they put on their hands these days. But it's interesting, Will Hurrell's first appearance, I think, since December, is it?
Yes, certainly is.
I rated this Latta to be man of the match when they had that playoff when down at Bristol, when they went up with Doncaster, when he was in the Doncaster Killers. He was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And I'm a great believer in a 12. His distribution may not be the best, but I tell you what he does is fix defences. And when you're struggling with your platform up front, you've got a 12 coming an angle, especially someone of his size. He takes some stopping.
Yeah, I was on commentary for Bath against Sale a couple of months ago, and Hurrell was giving it plenty of go forward in that match. Humdinger that was on that day. Kick downfield. Edwards has worked really hard to get back and be able to take that on the full. He's now going to need support as Hartpury bring him to ground. They opt to go short side. Hartpury with the tackle. They couldn't quite get the numbers in, but in looking to secure it, Bristol have actually gone off their feet illegally and given the penalty away. So Hartpury, just by being threatening defensively, have caused Bristol to panic and then give the penalty away themselves.
Correct decision again. Now can they get, don't they fluff the lines, can they get into the corner? Don't be too greedy. Williams just needs to put this up to the 22 or slightly beyond that and do exactly what I think what Bristol have done on the 2 or 3 occasions when they've been down in the 22, same situation. Get that ball in, get it to your big experience pack, and let's have a rumble.
Yeah, student at Hartpury, James Williams, 23 appearances this season, 96 points across all of them. Joined last summer. Ball is brought down at the front of the line by Darryl Dyer. Dyer.
Looking good.
Bedford, Coventry.
Looking good. It's right at the, sorry, Nick, it's right at the back there. They're doing this well.
They're getting a bit of a rumble. Bristol are doing their best. Well, there's the penalty advantage. Bristol clearly having brought it down. And there's the signal from the referee. Randall has a little look.
And if I'm Rhys Oakley now, you're straight back into the corner. People haven't paid to see penalties going over, even though, it's an important game as far as pride and bragging rights, whatever. But no, this is why and how or one of the reasons they've survived using the old heads. You've got Rhys Oakley's 38 years of age, Langley's 36. Matt Gilbert was there. He's been around the block a bit. He's obviously not playing today. He's been injured. Darryl Dyer. All these guys know exactly what to do and when to do it. Can they get over?
Well, it's in for Langley. It's taken it down. There's a few complaints from Bristol, but Hartpury have still got go forward, and they're over the line, and the try is scored.
Go on.
Brilliant effort from Ian Grieve.
It is number 6. A former Bristol club captain goes over for the home side Hartpury. But again, it's exactly what happens. You use your strengths. Good throw in from Tanner. Hits the man, and then you just roll round the front, and you can see the disappointment on Joe Joyce's face there. It's an easy game, isn't it?
Well, they sensed the opportunity. That first penalty went in. They didn't quite get it right, but they got the penalty because they obviously got a feeling that Bristol were worried about it.
It's very
difficult. They got a second crack.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how good. If you've got the setup, it's almost impossible to stop unless you're giving away a penalty, whatever. And if that keeps building, someone goes to the sin, but you're down to 14 men, and you'll get a penalty try. But you've got to get the right procedures right in the hooker's head and the callers, and don't over elaborate. Some teams just call these ridiculous moves. Just get it in, get it set, and push it forward.
Voice of Dowie Morris Former England and Lions scrum half joining us today. James Williams unable to quite slot that one and take his tally ever closer to the 100-point mark for the season. 96 he currently stands on, but Hartpury 5, Bristol 7 is not too bad at all as we watch Grieve crashing over once again. 2 points in it. Nearly a quarter of the match played.
Mike Teague would be calling that a thing of beauty then, he's saying. It's crashing over from two yards. Number 6 on his back. Perfect.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Every last millisecond.
Every last inch
millisecond.
Millimetre. Yeah.
Here come Hartpury again. I'll take a bit of confidence from that. Oh, and then they burst through again with the try scorer Grieve, and he's still going. They can't bring him down. And the offload back in field. And now Randall's looking for it. Manages to spin out of the initial tackle. And it's away from Leonard. Hartpury straight back into the Bristol 22 here. Dyer takes 2 to try and stop him. Nick Fenton-Wells being bounced away. That one was a little bit behind Luke Eves. Then on the crash ball, Will Tanner. Bowling ball through the hole. Hurrell. Craig goes through. Now the little stand up. Oh, that's the supporting line that they want from Tom Seabrook. Gets them ever closer. 5 metres out now. Alex Craig again might get himself a bit isolated here. Has done just enough.
Inches again. Inches.
Jordan Williams just getting himself caught on the wrong side, but referee happy enough that the ball is coming.
Well, if they come left or go left, as you can watch there, there's a try. He's got to be bent. He's got to,
oh, try scored! Just around the fringes. Dan Murphy spotted the chance. Joined last summer, Dan Murphy, 25 appearances over the course of the season, and that's his 3rd score of the campaign. And here we can see it from behind the posts.
Perfect.
Smuggled, wasn't it?
Absolutely perfectly done. It was a tremendous break initially, wasn't it, from Grieve, the try scorer, and then out to Langley, then to Randall at 9. Good supportive play, and then it was just picking where we go through the holes. And the game's just been flipped on its head, the first quarter. And I don't think Williams is going to miss this.
No problem at all that time from James Williams. So Hartpury get themselves into the lead for the first time in the game.
Well, the ex-Gloucester prop. Gloss obviously just down the road, sneaking over. A game of inches. He'll take it every time.
Sheedy. Comes down on this side, really nicely claimed. Was it Leonard who came forward for that? And then trying to reset, and support comes in from Malik Holden. Going back for a penalty, spotted by Christoph Ridley.
We're not linked into the ref, so normally we can eavesdrop on why he's getting that penalty. I think it may have been slightly taken in the air, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. Just when Bristol really need to come back into the game. That word again, momentum, has gone with Hartpury. Just those 2 good tries, good forwards tries, and then a little bit of not so much luck, but you get a penalty awarded, and then they're just walking down now to the 10-metre line, getting the communication right.
Interesting setting of their own tempo here, isn't it?
Well, why do it? They've got a few old heads out there. Conserve the energy. Good throw again from Tanner.
Yeah, in for Langley. Former Plymouth and Nottingham man. And another of those who was once at Gloucester in the academy as he was. Hartpury not going forward any longer, but they're getting another penalty because Fenton-Wells, I think, was in at the side. They've gone for the little chip through. Will it sit up? Oh, it didn't sit up immediately for Luke Eves, but the chase is on. Or for Leonard. Didn't quite work out for them, but referee happy enough that there was a penalty advantage taken.
Oh, good refereeing from Ridley there, you got to say, Nick, because the advantage had come. Bristol tried to sack it. They came in at the side then because, again, good play from the Hartpury forward, just kept it at the back, and then the lovely little chip over the top into the corner, and Jordan Williams had nothing else to do than kick it out. But look where they are again, and look what they've done on the last 2 occasions when they've been that distance from the line. They've scored a try.
Quite refreshing to see an advantage played out and not brought back for them to have another kick. But
it's good refereeing,
yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
it? Absolutely good refereeing. Give the advantage to the attacking side, exactly where the ball's going. And this is going forward at some rate of knots.
Great stuff. Joe Joyce has to fall out of it, but they've got the likes of Eves at the back trying to get the shove on, and it is there. Is it going to be Ian Grieve again? Looked like he might have been over. Ridley is right on the spot as they try and come round the near side. Got to get the bodies out the way and have another go here. Referee spotted it on the far side as we look. Try's been scored. Who is at the bottom?
Murphy.
It's Dan Murphy. Third try for Hartpury. We've not even played 25 minutes.
Well, isn't sport an amazing thing? It's just message going out to my right from the Bristol coaches: why aren't we competing at that? But it's very difficult when you're that far, when you're that sort of close to the line, to get your body down. And again, someone with Murphy's experience gets very, very low to the ground and truffles, like a pig, snuffling for truffles.
Well, it's his 4th try of the season. He only scored his 3rd a few minutes ago.
Well, if he gets a hat-trick, my word, there'll be a few pints of the apple going down tonight. There'll be a few pints of the apple going down anyway, but...
So Williams, slightly trickier effort out on the wide left. And he take a 10-point lead to 12. Just faded away beyond the left-hand upright.
Well, he's a talented player, Williams. He plays centre, full-back, 10. He's got good distribution to work on his goal kicking, but that's the try there. Like I said, again, they've got to be down. Bristol needed to be down a little bit more on those guard areas, right down on your haunches to stop it. But again, when he's a little bit greasy on the ground, he can just get that aquaplane and away to go. And you've got to say Hartpury deserved it. They've weathered a bit of a storm. Bristol got that first early try, then they've hit back with 3 tries now.
Bristol have got to be careful of their discipline in some of those mauls as well. Coming around the side, giving away those penalties, that's where it came from. They're seeing Hartpury as threatening in that area. Short side. Bristol trying to...
It's interesting watching Bristol. They're only putting 1 or 2 people into those rucks and mauls because, again, they don't want to commit too many people, because at the moment it's Hartpury in control. That's a great take.
Lemmy tried to get up for that. Brilliant to work that back for Langley.
Take a bow, Holden. What a bit of skill. What a bit of bravery.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to compete against anybody, you've got to fancy your chances against David Lemmy.
Well, yes.
Really, really close there as Bristol tried to come up. Jack Tovey doing really well to make the man and ball tackle. He was very close into that passing channel, potentially for a little more. Hartpury just need to be wary of their decision making in those areas rather than flinging it out of excitement. Go for the kick again. It's not going to be contestable. It's a little too easy for Andy Uren, that one, and that might be an area where
here they go.
Bristol watch on and suggest Randall will need to be a bit more accurate when he's playing in Bristol colours, but Bristol don't hang around. We saw the tempo they wanted to play at against Doncaster, and now they're trying to do that again. But once more, Mike Wilcox will not be beaten. He's having an afternoon like a Premiership goalkeeper. Won't let anything past him. That looked a little bit untidy.
Didn't need to do that. Jeffries is a very good player, but again, you just give him again possession back when you just need to hold on to it. Good bit of skill in the midfield from Wilcox. Yeah, he is. He's stopping him like a goalie, isn't he?
A couple of times Edwards has tried to get down the near side. That time straight through the middle.
But again, Callum Sheedy, just seen that beautiful footwork. He hasn't had much opportunity with Madigan obviously being there, but in his 4th season, he was crucial obviously when Bristol went up into the Prem. That pivotal role of 10, so important. But again, he can only sort of pull the trigger or pull the strings when his pack is doing well. I think they just need to keep hold of the ball, actually get some big ball carries going in as they did in that first sort of 5-7 minutes of the game. They've gone a bit quiet, Bristol Pack.
Yeah, I could just see James Lay there, the Samoan prop who arrived on the short-term deal from Bay of Plenty in December, just having a word with the Pack as they took a moment to have water there. Almost just seem a little bit disconnected at the minute. They won't worry. 10 points behind, plenty of time left in this one. Do let us know wherever you're watching. Get in touch with us on Twitter using the hashtag #ChampRugby. Might just hear the voice of Pat Lam just behind us. Now, Dewi Morris, what's your knowledge of the front row like? Pat Lam shouting to Will Tanner, the hooker there, wider.
Yeah. Well,
Do you need his legs to be wider in the middle? Is that what he's talking about?
I think
Do you want him to be starting in a wider position from the opposition?
your legs should actually just be straight up and across, in a sense. You shouldn't go back. You see, watch Tonga Weir now. You go long in the leg. Gives you, see, that's a bad position. There's only one way that's going to go, is down. So now that's to negate the push from
That's
Hartpury.
incredible, Towie. You
It is, and
call
I
that
could
before
talk
it
for
happens.
hours. This is amazing what you learn with Jason Leonard in a bar at 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't got a clue, really. It's the ones who push harder. It is technical. I have been explained
The
once or
fact that you
twice.
started to call it and then it was happening.
But no, I do. No,
Before-
it's physics. If your legs are
It was
so
amazing.
far back, you can't retain the weight. But again, you can just see it's happy. The Hartpury supporters are really enjoying this because they're getting the penalties, they're getting the position on the field. And if this was me now, this would be catch and drive again.
Well, Darren Morris's horoscopes will be available next week.
There you go.
Look at that.
And then you've got the likes of Eves there in the midfield, just going to come off Williams if it just breaks down a bit.
I'm going to ask you who's going to win the 440 at Kempton next. Outside the 22, Bristol with plenty of bodies in
Done
there
well.
and doing a decent enough job of actually stopping Hartpury on that occasion. And well, you mentioned Dowie, overhearing the Bristol staff just talking about why aren't we competing, and that was certainly a bit better from them.
Absolutely. They just, again, get in the right angle and just hold that ball up. And if that ball stays up, you're going to get it reversed to you. So they needed that. Last sort of 9 minutes of this half, they've been put under the pump because every time Hartpury get down, they come away with points, and that's what you need. But again, a lot of experience there. You can see Rupert Harding, nicknamed the Sausage. I'm allowed to say that because I know Rupert well. He's perfectly, he's the perfect shape, but doesn't get any definition. That's why they call him Sausage. But I tell you what, he can blow in scrimmage.
Well, Tonga Weir's popped up a little, but the ball's away, so happy enough with it. Jack Tovey chips it on now. It's in the hands of Lemmy with a bit of room to work as well down the near side. Just put the chip through into the middle. Oh, and it's been knocked on, so advantage to Bristol. And now in the hands of Hurrell. And Hurrell's got room to pick out Sheedy, who then plays the crossfield kick. And is this going to sit up nicely for Ryan Edwards? And it looks like it'll be Bristol's second try. And that was worked beautifully. His second try of the season, and Ryan Edwards gets the spoils from Lemmy's break on the left, and then the vision from Sheedy across field.
Bit fortuitous, you've got to say, for Edwards initially, a bit of a mix-up in the midfield, but again, it was gifted by Holden's inability just to stay out on his wing. David Lemmy came kicking the ball through, and this time Wilcox, the goalkeeper, couldn't get his hands on it, went back to Tovey. I think then to Hurrell, and eventually the vision to kick the ball wide. Edwards was in absolute acres of space, as you could see, and it was just a matter of the ball bouncing nicely for him, and it did. And this will be a 7-pointer.
Sheedy 2 out of 2 from the tee. And now just down to a 3-point game. Of course, those couple of conversions that James Williams wasn't able to slot.
That's it, Edwards just running in, like I said, they'd all been drawn in across the field. And he's done well. He's been one player that has really put his hand up. He's had lots of ball. And apart from, like I said, the goalkeeping skills of Wilcox, he could have scored maybe one other try. But again, we've got a good game here. That's a good reaction, good talk from Bristol.
I know that many of you who Bristol fans across the world have been looking for the chance to be able to catch them on the Championship live stream.
You mean the Bristol Bears, don't you?
Bristol Bears, of course. Well, we'll no doubt have a bit more of that chat as the afternoon goes on.
From the closeness to the play.
Howell ships it on, looks for a little bit of invention and footwork from his second row Ed Holmes. Now back in for Lay. Through Sheedy. Fenton Wells. Lamb is liking what he sees alongside us, and then the chip through from Williams is worked well, but Randall didn't panic. Got down well, and the support has arrived there just in time, but Bristol might be rucking through this. Hartpury have done superbly.
Randall is just, again, a very good reader of where the attack's going to go and if people are going to chip it through, and gets down on the ball. Like I said, he's the smallest on the field, but my word, he puts it about.
Courageous as well to put yourself and your body on the line. And he's got it now in a decent position to make the clearance. A bit of pressure from Holmes, but it's done very well. Go Geordie go, says Pat Lamb alongside us, and he finds Lemmy, and the cheers start to go up for Lemmy, and there's a bit of the footwork that we're so used to seeing. Samoan loves to get going, but well, that was just untidy, and then it was knocked on. We're getting the good and the bad from Bristol this afternoon.
A bit of pushing and shoving here, but James Williams there at the heart of things. He put in two tremendous tackles. I think one was on Lemmy, and then someone took an exception to it, but you can see the frustration on Bristol's side. It's not going all their own way, purely because, again, the efficiency from Hartpury when they get in those areas. And this is one place that Tonga and the boys from Bristol do not want to give an inch, because it has been one of their Achilles' heels when sides have got on top of them. They put pressure on, and then they don't have a platform, and everyone starts panicking. And Hartpury know that. You can see their Tanner's down early, Harding's in there, Murphy on the other side, and they've got the put into this ball, so they just want to sink in and secure. Right in the midfield now. Well, we've got 4 minutes to go. Good set. They're trying to buy a penalty.
He's coming back for Randall. Referee's just going to reset this one. I mean, James Davis is asking via the England Rugby Facebook page, Bristol players must be thinking of their forthcoming holidays. Is there that danger of having a foot on the beach?
Yes, it would have to be, because the job's done and they've done it well. Just the one blip against Jersey. And you can say the professionals, they should stay focused. Come on, let's be realists about there. They'll have had a few shandies, I'm sure, this week, because it's been a hard season. They've got 4 weeks off, so yeah, bet they will want to finish on a high. They won't want to finish on a loss, so if the score stays the same as it probably, well, it may do. I think the lads on my right hand side, Pat Lamb, Jonathan Thomas, you know, Conor Phillips will have a word. Come on, this is the last 40 minutes of this season. You haven't been doing it well. Let's sort it out. And that's a great push from Hartpury. And that's where you go. That's if you want to put pressure on another side.
Brilliant work from the home side, and congratulations to each of them all round. Rich Derrick, it's 7 a.m. in Seattle. Bristol, please don't make my day start off with a loss.
Seattle.
There you go. Ricky Dunn watching from Bali. Keep up the work, Hartpury. But it's a little warmer out there.
Yeah,
Ricky.
It's 7 degrees here and getting colder. Now this could be interesting, isn't it? And again, another great position.
Will Tanner trying to get the assistant there to give him an extra couple of yards. Come on, sir, it's the end of term.
He's had spells, isn't he, at Bath and at Bristol, Tanner. So again, you just have that little thing at the back. Well, I'll just get one over on my old employees.
Works on the equestrian side down here at Hartpury, does Will Tanner.
Well, mate, it's a fantastic setup for anything. A mate of mine, lads, is doing A-levels here, and he's doing the football and loves it, the rugby, and it's just fantastic. Women's and, you know, and boys. You've got all the farming and everything's superb.
Absolutely. But it's penalty Bristol. Doesn't quite go Hartpury's way. And Bristol go with a quick tap. Going for the crossfield kick here for Edwards, who catches it with 1 foot on the whitewash. Could see that myself direct from the commentary position.
Well, he caught it, then he put his foot in, didn't he? Unfortunate, but again, Bristol, as ever, trying to play out from deep. That is their blueprint. The way it's they've done most of the season. And now Tanner has another chance. Minute to go. Mothers meeting from the Hartpury forwards. They'll just amble up to this line out. Don't overcomplicate things.
They just. Dan Murphy's saying, make sure I get it. I'm on a hat trick.
No, he wants it an inch from the line. Oh, that's the first real good line-out pressure that they've been able to exert.
Well, Tonga Weir benefited from being the first man to the loose ball from the top of the line, but he knocked it on in the tackle.
Well, it's his last game, isn't it? And Cortez went, I think, to Tuesday after their game against Doncaster. He flew back to Argentina. Obviously, he's signed for Leicester Tigers next season. His wife's over there, the birth of their baby. Hopefully that went smoothly. But there's quite a few people moving on, isn't there? They're obviously attracting a few, so for a few people it's the last time they wear a Bristol shirt.
Jordan Crane just receiving a bit of attention, a chance to check in with a few more of you who are watching our live stream. Watching from the Netherlands, Josh Walker supporting Bristol. Alan Perry watching from Germany. People watching from the Dominican Republic as well. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in here on the live stream.
Have a cocktail for me, please.
Anyone in particular, Dowie?
It's freezing. There's a few.
Okay.
I like a mojito, actually.
Okay, that's nice.
I think we'll stick for a cup of coffee at half-time, or a cup of Bovril or Oxdale soup to warm us up.
Whatever someone can get from the bar and barbecue stand.
It's great, though. There's 2,300 people around this stadium. And again, it's purpose-built. Who knows, in years and years to come, a rich benefactor comes in and these guys keep performing as they do. They may one day want to go up in the Premiership. Who knows? They're happy where they are, supplying players to the likes of Bristol, to Gloucester, to Bath. But you can see the talent they've got there, and they will keep attracting talent.
Yeah, great magnet for young talent through the college age groups and beyond. Randall then on for Tom Seabrook. Now it's up for Ian Grieve. Try scorer. 1 of 3 from Hartpury in this first half, which has seen them with their noses in front.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian Grieve has done some tremendous carrying in his first 40. Not only that try he got, he's just really always on that sort of right or left hand arm, that little sort of cherry ball to him. Superb.
Murphy. This goes 2 metres. Tonga Weir has a little look to see if he can get in and spoil, but now Randall feeds Craig.
My whole head is saying that these forwards just want to go up, one out to buy a penalty right in front of the post, 3 points before half-time, or a drop.
He's gone for the drop, and now the charge down, and could it be on for Andy Uren? Oh, it might have turned 3 to -7. The chase is on, and the tackle's good enough from James Williams. Now then, where's the Bristol support? Plenty of pressure as Lemmy tried to get it away. Now our clock has gone red. Bristol go down the short side, still 5 metres from the line.
Well, you've got Edwards on this right-hand wing. We scored one from there before the crossfield kick. He's signalling.
Bristol look to try and keep it simple to begin with. Uren. They've got a penalty advantage now as well. Hurrell comes in tight to the right, but might think about staying a little wider. That ball's not coming back, so we're going back for the penalty, but is it a little desperate, a little bit clutching at something from Hartpury to go for that drop?
I wouldn't, because again, you hadn't got the momentum. It's easy then for a side to put pressure in or charge it down, because they're not going back on their heels. They're actually going forward, so they pulled that trigger too early to give Williams a chance. I'd have kept going with the forwards. And then when you've got a bit of forward momentum, boom, the ball goes back and hopefully over it goes. It was easy to charge down that, but again, the penalty they played, well, they may pay the price of a try, because this is a great opportunity now for Fenton Wells.
Well, from wanting to extend a lead into the break to potentially going back in behind. Can Bristol get this one right? Sam Jeffries with the leap. And the momentum is fast towards the line. And they come again. Jordan Crane buffeted around. Short to ball, Tonga Weir. One-man mountain will get him there under the posts. The former Saints man punishing Hartpury for perhaps a little too much adventure towards the end of this first half. Bristol back up to the other end, getting the catch and drive right, and eventually Tonga with the score. And it's Bristol's third of the game.
Yeah, I think they pulled the trigger too quickly on that attempted drop goal. But again, you see Tonga's strength there, and the relief. I've got to say, the whole of the Bristol bench is just in front of us before they went out into the dugouts, jumped up in the air, and so did the coaches. So, you know, it means a lot, obviously, to Bristol to end the season on a win. But they've been able to, well, they've been given plenty to think about, and I'm sure the coaches will be talking to the players just to hold on to the ball and get some momentum. Again, we use that word, but that's what it's about. Hartpury have had it every time they've gotten a 22, come away with points, and we've got a great second half to come up.
Sheedy making no mistake with the conversion from right in front of the posts. And, well, what a turnaround towards the end of that first half. Hartpury 3 tries, Bristol Rugby 3 tries. We will run through the highlights of each of them in due course, but Urim with the first score, then Grieve and a brace from Dan Murphy. Then Ryan Edwards getting onto the score sheet after a couple of early forays into Hartpury territory. And we've just seen Soani Tonga, the former Saints man, signed from Oyonnax, getting over in his last game for Bristol. What a nice way to sign off. At half-time, it's Hartpury 17, Bristol 21. And, well, you may have seen some of our films from the Inside Championship Rugby series over the course of the season. And we've got another one for you this afternoon. Alex Cheeseman, of course, who, well, used to be based in London. And, well, we might think we're in the countryside here in the West Country in Hartpury. But, well, his adventures down with the Cornish Pirates have really taken him into the sticks. And we can catch up with that now.
Well, when I signed for Pirates, I'd never been to Cornwall before, so it was a bit of a gamble. But I was at Wasps since I was like 14, in their academy and stuff, and then I went to university. I kind of always liked being near the sea, and I'd always liked kind of getting out of London and being in the countryside when possible. When I got here, it was a bit of a culture shock, because I'd literally come straight from living near Clapham in London, and then I came down to Penzance. To start with, I just lived in a house with 4 other rugby guys and that was great because I kind of got to know the area a bit. And then within a couple of years, I'd met Abby, who's now my wife, and just through probably more through luck than judgment, we've ended up with the kind of lifestyle that we've got now. And we live quite kind of out in the sticks, and we've got a very old, what was a very run-down cottage. I think it's about 400 years old, and we've been doing that up. It's got a bit of land with it, so we started to think of things we could do. First thing we decided, we put like a greenhouse up, and we grow a lot of our own fruit and veg, and then we've got like an orchard there, and then we got ducks. Well, I took up beekeeping probably about a year ago now, and I've actually only had 1 sting, so I've been quite lucky. My friends and family, they think I'm nuts anyway, I think, and the players here definitely think it's a bit out of the ordinary, really, even for Cornwall. Yeah, I guess like separate parts of my life. It's like beekeeping is just one aspect of the way I kind of live outside of rugby. The fact is, like, rugby, especially down here, we're travelling a lot. It's pretty hectic. We're pretty full on when we train, and the season's busy. So, like, to have something else, especially the time of year that you have to do most work in the garden, it tends to be the time that we got off. So I find it's really relaxing, and the diet side of things was just naturally progressed. We ended up just not eating. That was actually the hardest bit, not eating cheese anymore. So, yeah, I guess I'm technically not a vegan because I eat honey, but I don't eat meat or dairy. I think there's a little bit extra special here because everyone's so close to each other. Like, the players are close because a lot of people have moved down from other parts of the country, and you're in a smaller community. Like I say, everyone knows each other, so you get to know the fans and you get to know the people who make the club work. I think you have to be like 3 or 4 generations deep before you call yourself Cornish, but I definitely love it here, and as long as they'll have me here, I'll stay, and I love everything about the club, really. So, and it's not just the club, the rugby side of it, it's everything else. I think I don't really see us moving away after I finish playing rugby.
Oh, that's the life, isn't it? Alex Cheeseman there with the ducks and the wildlife down, plugging away with Cornish Pirates. A life away from Clapham, certainly, as he goes into detail there. So, Hartpury College 17, Bristol Rugby 21 at half-time. It is finally poised, of course, in round one of the Greene King IPA Championship. Hartpury had the lead on Bristol Rugby. And we know that Bristol have, seen off all comers except the one loss. 20 wins in the championship to have crowned them victorious. But if you are just joining our live coverage, great to have your company, whether it's on the Championship Rugby website or on the England Rugby official Facebook page. My name's Nick Keith, alongside me Dowie Morrison. Let's, Dowie, have a look at some of the highlights from that first half.
Indeed we will, and it was a great start from Bristol, you've got to say. Using their forwards, powering over. That was Andy Uren on the end of that, but again it was a good kick into the corner. Jordan Crane, the captain, had called it. That's the damage that was being done, and that's what you need to do when you're trying to, again, put a marker down early on in the game. That's what they did in the last game against Doncaster, and prior to that Nottingham. When they've struggled, they haven't had this platform or anything to launch off, and that's what that scrum half loves. Getting on the back of that, and then he can either throw that ball in or he sees that line and over he goes. And that was, again, good news for Bristol early on. But credit to the guys in red. They're a nuggety, gnarly old pack. Old, I've got to say, but with old comes experience, and they just know what to do. And that was just, again, a game that it's not turned because Bristol have come back into it, but they've made it a contest of Hartpury by using their forwards, going over from short distances. That's Murphy getting that first one, and then very quickly gets a second.
And at this point you could really sense that Bristol had a fear for that catch and drive.
You do, because again it gets in the back of your head, and the coaches to our right were saying get low, get low. There's not a lot you can do against that because Murphy's even lower. Again, and with the wet conditions you can just get a little bit of a slide going on, but look, Murphy's played the game long enough to know, well, I'm not going to chuck that out to, or let Harry Randall have it out to chuck it to the backs to give an opportunity maybe to drop a ball. I can get over here using my power, my nous. And again, the coaches weren't happy from Bristol. They weren't competing, the word came on. But again, there's a lot of good players in that Bristol shirt and a lot of experience, and they came back into it. But again, you've got to admire the tenacity of you can see Luke Eves there, Bristol born, and that's what it means. Number 12 is going up to tap his forwards on the back, and that's what will happen, is whether these guys can keep it going. But again, as ever, Sheedy made the break on this initial left-hand side, and the damage was done. This time, Mike Wilcox, I'm going to say, has had a great job at 15 for Hartpury. Couldn't stop it. There was no one at home for Edwards. And then it was that big Tongan right at the end, going straight over, and his last game for Bristol, crashing over, which has brought the scores as level as they are. So 17 plays 21 due to that man, and he takes some stopping. There you go.
I mean, this is the point that over the course of the season so far, we now expect Bristol to come out and stick 30 points away. But Hartpury don't look that susceptible to conceding those scores, certainly from what we've seen in the first 40. Because
they've got a competitive pack of forwards. They're very, very strong in the scrimmage. They're very good, good line out forwards. So on their own ball, it takes some team to nick it off them. It's whether they've got the appetite. But I can assure you, with this game being streamed and the bumper crowd that they've got, 2,300 or so in, and it's the last 40 minutes before they hit the deck chairs or go to the beach, they will want to put a big bun in. And they've just seen how they can undo Bristol. All right, it may not be the Harlem Globetrotters style of certain sides. They don't matter, mate. At the end of the day, just read the scoreboard at the end of the game. But Bristol will want to go out on a higher, equally. So I'm expecting harsh words from Pat Lam in the changing room.
Well, we've got plenty more coming up for you on England Rugby Facebook page and on the various websites as well. But we're of course here at Hartpury for the last round of the Greene King IPA Championship tomorrow. Well, what a humdinger we've got. It's on Sky Sports Rugby, and you can catch that game on the Facebook page as well. The Tyrrell's Premier 15s final, Saracens against Harlequins, the two best teams of the championship over the course of the season. And what a first season it's been of the women's top club competition in the country.
Who's going to win? Go on, you've done a load of them. Go on, stick your neck out. I always get asked.
I'm going to say Saracens.
Okay. Carry on.
I think the likes of Poppy Cleal and Marley Packer will potentially cause a problem for Harlequins up front. That's not to say that Rachel Burford and the girls at Quins will not be able to have the run on them.
Don't back out now. You've said Saracens. Don't go 50-50.
All right. I'll stick with.
I'll be watching tomorrow to see if you're right.
Gary Street will be on at me about that, I'm fairly sure. And then we move to next Sunday, the 6th of May, the RFU Club Cup finals. Those are on Free Sports and on the live stream at Twickenham Stadium. And then Friday, the 11th of May, England under 20 against South Africa under 20, also on Free Sports. That one's at Sixways Stadium, a 7:30 kickoff there. And then Saturday, the 19th of May, the RFU under 18 Cup final. That one's at Sixways at 2 o'clock. And then Sunday, the 27th of May, of course, the day after the Premiership final, and of course the same day as England will be taking on Barbarians, the RFU County Championship finals. All of it available on facebook.com/official England Rugby, the modern era where you can be catching plenty of top flight live rugby action right on the Facebook page, which may be where you're tuning in. You might be on championshiprugby.co.uk, wherever you are. You're very welcome. If you'd like to see it in the flesh, we'll get yourselves down to Vallis Way tomorrow, because that's where that Tyrrell's Premier 15s is being played, in London, in Ealing. And early bird tickets from just £5 for adults. Kids can go free. So what's more to enjoy? Get the family out for absolutely top-class action. Heard Gary Street talking during the week. It's not about it being a great game of women's rugby. It's about it being a great game of rugby. And it certainly will be. 27th of May, then, there is that England Barbarians game. And tickets available from £25. Don't know exactly who'll be turning out for the Barbarians, but given the last few years of success and adventure that we've seen under various coaches, that will look good.
And Pat Lamb is coaching the Barbars.
Pat Lamb, of course, is looking after that one. And then 2nd and 3rd of June, well, it's the HSBC London Sevens. Always a great day out for the family as well. Plenty of food stalls available as well at the home of England Rugby. Tickets from £20. You can get all the ticketing information, eticketing.co.uk/RFU. Thank you to our sponsors. Plenty for you to be enjoying over the next couple of months. It may have a slight end-of-season feel, an end-of-term feel here in the rugby, in the Greene King IPA Championship, but there is certainly plenty more rugby to keep you going right the way through to the beginning of June. So people watching from the likes of Miami, helping themselves to a cocktail. It's early in the day for that, probably, in Miami. Perth as well. Callum Hepworth-Smith was quite entertained by your call of Bovril there, Dowie. Maybe bringing that back for someone.
It's a great drink, and when you're cold, you need something to warm you up.
Is that the modern attempt at getting sponsorship? Are you hoping there's going to be a crate of
Bovril? Yeah, I made it. Oh my goodness me!
No, I'm all right for the Ferrari.
One jar lasts you at least a year. Trust me. It's very concentrated. Very nice though.
So Hartpury College 17, Bristol Rugby 21. We're expecting the two teams out in just a moment. So the teams that come out of the sheds for the start of the second half. And I know we've had a couple of comments from those of you watching on the England Rugby Facebook page. Rich Derek Dowie, well, he asks you about promotion and relegation, wondering whether those players that have had to fight for every tooth and nail to avoid relegation are actually better players with perhaps an England side because they know there's a consequence to losing.
Absolutely correct, Rich, I would have to say, because I'm a big believer there should be relegation promotion. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. If you're good enough, you're good enough. And it's been proven through any league whatsoever throughout the world that as soon as you ring fence, nothing good becomes of that. And I feel for the teams underneath. Equally, if there's championship sides that don't want to commit financial suicide, they win this game, whatever. And that's why I love these playoffs at the end of the season, which we unfortunately haven't got. If they want to go up, they go up. If they don't want to go up, they don't go up. So if you see what I'm trying to say, there should always be that aspiration. It's like this club. You could build this into a 12,000 seater stand. One day, you don't know. And what happens is that if you do allow it to happen, and they say, oh, it's from a 3-year period or a 5-year period, that turns into a 10, 15-year period, whatever. Look, I can see the pluses on the other side, but actually as a sporting aspect from me, no, it has to be relegation, has to be promotion. That soapbox, where has it gone now?
There we go.
Yeah, right,
And,
okay. Don't ask me another one.
And a few reports recently that, well, the professional game board may be kicking the idea of ring fencing into the long grass.
Well, I hope so. I really do hope so.
And a few people certainly behind that. Christopher Walsh reminds us that we forgot to mention the Army-Navy match at Twickenham on the 5th of May. What a day out that is if you've never attended. Certainly Christopher will give that a mention. So Hartpury, some lines to clear from the kick-off in the second half. Trailing as they do by 4 points. If you're just joining our coverage, well, Hartpury had a 3-point lead. Ambitiously went for a drop goal in perhaps ambitious circumstances, gave away an immediate turnover, and Bristol went up the other end and scored just on the stroke of half-time. So Hartpury very much in this, leading at one stage by 10 points, 17 points to 7, having gone down to the early Andy Uren try. What will Bristol come back with? We know how well they've put teams away second half over the course of the Greene King IPA Championship campaign.
Good contest, good reload.
Hartpury come diving in to try and secure it, trying to argue that the ball is out, but David Lemmy has gone with that quickly, and Hartpury certainly weren't back the 10 metres.
But it's good play from the referee again, Ridley, because he's just allowed that to happen. There's no problem at all. He could see that the advantage was going to come to Bristol. Don't give a penalty.
Offload game works for Bristol. They find James Lay. Now they get going again. Uren Sheedy, little floated ball over the top for Sam Graham. Graham gets the offload away. And it's going to be the first try of the second half for Ryan Edwards. And that was a bit more like the Bristol we've seen over the course of the season, Dowie.
Yeah, fluidity from the scrum after the fly-off, calling the shots, then equally the forwards getting involved, and that's a great second try for Edwards. Again, just staying on his wing this time, didn't look for anything else, just let the guys in front of them make those decisions, and that's exactly what's happened. A good start in the first half with Uren scoring. Look at that, just bide your time, stay out there, use your pace. You're around your man Seabrook, and tries to make the kick a little bit easier. Yeah, don't be too cute, but that's a good finish.
Made his debut against Cornish Pirates in the British and Irish Cup. Ryan Edwards had one try before today, and he's got a couple on the score sheet.
Well, Morahan, the Australian international, not playing for Bristol. He got 4 against Doncaster. Well, I gave him man of the match. He had to. He was just, again, simply unstoppable. Outstanding performance, but unstoppable.
He was creator of a few as well, wasn't he?
Absolutely. But again, just what Pat Lamb and the rest of the coaches would have wanted. Edwards going in, just making that scoreboard look a little bit more inviting, happy, or whatever. But again, these Hartpury boys are well-schooled, well-grounded, and well-disciplined. So they need to be precise, Bristol, in everything they do.
Sheedy 4 out of 4 with those conversions.
Too many bodies on the wrong side.
Bristol securing the bonus point.
Madigan-esque then, if he's kicking well, nearly 100%. And I don't know what percentage Madigan finished the season. It was high 80s, and that's what they're going to need for the Premiership.
Lay. Kick downfield and chase on. And Edwards has got serious gas. James Williams did just about enough.
Williams has done very, very well there. My goodness me.
And now Wilcox. Randall having a look, having a chat.
Saw Tom Kerridge down here, the chef, with his wife and baby before. Celebrity spotting there, you see.
Tasty.
Big rugby fan, obviously. My mate Paul Dean went to his restaurant and won a prize down there. Had an absolutely fantastic time. So.
Very nice too.
Bovril, Tom Kerridge.
It's a feast of delights.
Oh my word!
You on commentary, Dowie.
Again, good opportunity.
Nicely won at the top from Joyce. Oh, a lovely hole picked out by Jordan Crane, and the pass had to be inch perfect to make sure he could get through the offload to Williams, and Bristol can make it look so easy when they want to. Jordan Crane, though, perfectly in the hole and perfectly picked out.
And that's what he's done, really. He just stands a little bit wider, lets the big second rows carry, and then uses his vision, if you want. He's probably lost that half a yard of pace, if not a yard of pace. But again, just watch him coming around the corner. Let the big boys there just do the decoy. Picks a great angle. He comes back on the ball, and as ever, Jordan Williams can score him from 80 metres. He scored it from about 18 there. And that's a tremendous start. The words of wisdom from the coaches must have been ringing in their ears, and they've rewarded those words with 2 quick-fire tries now, really stretched Bristol's lead. 5 tries to 3, just 5 minutes into this second half.
Oh, what a turnaround it is in the space of all of about 7 minutes if you account for the 2 before half-time. 17-14 from Bristol becomes 17-35.
That's fantastic. Again, Uren then just missing 3 players out, but again, there's an option for those 3 players to take it, but the call has come from Crane. He's seen it, and then Jordan Williams doesn't have to do anything. Just watch the big fellow with the blue hat, pop the ball up. Thank you very much. What a great start.
Change made for Hartpury. Sam leaning onto the field. Number 21. As Bristol start to build again. Good tackle from Eves, trying to hold up Tovey.
No, it's not.
Real competition there. Lay dummies the offload from Uren. Hartpury trying to compete and slow that down, but it's now back from Uren towards the short side. Penalty Hartpury.
Harry Randall goes up, but it'll still go into the corner.
Hartpury need to get back into the rhythm of their own game plan.
Clear out.
Conceded 14 points in 6 minutes.
Jordan. Speak to it. He knows what he did.
Sam Lehman kicking into the corner, so he's obviously come on for Williams. I'm scanning my right because my eyes aren't the greatest, as you know.
Yeah, Williams is the one who's made way.
Yeah.
Got to get the first thing right at the line-out though, Hartpury, and Bristol do well to steal.
Tanner's gone off, Stratford's come on. Stratford, I should say, apologising straight away. You're in that position that just worked for you in that first half, and you haven't hit your man.
Let's go.
Kick fielded from Hartpury, looking for options on the halfway line. Opted for the little chip through as Leeming. And now sensing that there might not be anybody at the back. Set up nicely for Malik Holden. And then he gets it back from Wilcox. And now gets going. And that's good footwork from Holden. And he's got support on the inside from Leonard. And Leonard then plays it away. And this might be a sensational score. Oh, can they get there? It's a brilliant try, finished by Randall. But sensational work from Wilcox and from the feet of Malik Holden.
It was good, but I think it was a forward pass in that when Holden threw the ball in initially. It was the return pass, I think it was to Wilcox. Wilcox back to Holden, I think was forward. The try will stand, but again, it's good supportive play, and this is where Randall, again, as any good 9, he's just tracking the ball, and he has got pace. He's got real pace.
Holden was absolutely smashed by
Yeah.
Edwards, wasn't he?
David Lemmy, you could see that, I don't know who was appealing to the referee or to the touch judge that it was forward, but I think it was about 1.5 yards forward. Doesn't matter. The try was given, but it does matter if Bristol go on to lose this game, because that was a blatant forward pass.
Voice of Dowie Morris here with us, former England and Lions scrum half. Good adventure from Malik Holden. No problem with the conversion. So Hartpury get themselves up to 24 points now, just trailing by 11. Sam Leeming adding the extras.
This is where I think there's a forward pass. I will stand corrected.
10 and 12, and 12,
That
yeah.
is a yard forward, even from that angle. But again, I was just wanting Holden to get hold of that ball. I've seen him play a couple of times. He's electric. Again, that's good distribution. He's just taken a big style from Edwards.
Yeah, it's a
who
huge
scored
hit.
It is a huge hit. Legal hit. Already scored 2 tries, but shown his defensive capabilities as well.
Ready?
But sometimes you just got to play to the whistle, and that's what Bristol have had to do.
Well, we're being treated to a fair amount of tries so far this afternoon. 9 so far.
Dynamic.
Hartpury look to get their hands on a 4-try bonus as well. Already secured. Could they turn it into a victory? Luke Eves come bowling through the middle. And now Randall gets it away, and Leeming distributing through Dyer. And they're queuing up on the nearest side. Luke Stratford onto the field for Hartpury.
Advantage.
Penalty Hartpury.
They'll just cool things down again now. They've just, every time they get onto the ball, Hartpury looking to do stuff, but again, take your time. You've scored a fortuitous try. Referee touch judge weren't, I would say, down with play, if you see what I mean. They took it very, very quickly. But you've got to take your opportunities or the decision that was given to you, and that's the right decision again from Hartpury. Slow things down. Leeming's done pretty well since he's come on.
Yeah,
Controlling matters.
First appearance in the championship for Sam Leeming. Played Ulster away off the bench in the British and Irish Cup. Led the boys to the Bucks Championships from fly half, and well, he's only played a few minutes here. He's already got 2 points to open his Greene King IPA Championship account.
Joe Quinn going well there in the line out, and it's that man Greaves again.
Yeah, there's a penalty advantage being played as well, so can Hartpury take advantage
Playing
here?
under advantage for collapse more.
Randall fancied a little chip through. That one's not going to work out. Luke Eves couldn't make Will Hurrell disappear in the middle, which is the man he needed to try and run through.
Yeah, rather you than me. But again, this will go into the corner without a doubt.
I know they're the first half. Yeah, so spread apart.
Not a day for chipping away at the lead that Bristol have.
Look, it's just bragging rights, it's pride, everything we talked about in that first half. You know, the last 30 minutes left of the season, a hard season. These guys, you know, they travel a long distance. They train their proverbial bottoms off every week, so it's time for a rest. But they want to go out on a high. And every time anyone plays Bristol, it's their cup final. It doesn't matter whether there's nothing on it. They're champions. It's still we beat Bristol. We beat the big guys.
Dyer takes the line out. He's no longer in there.
The ball's available. Leave it blue.
Hartpury got close, but they're going to have to flick this out. They haven't got really much of a backline to speak of. Malik Holden is away down on the far touchline near our commentary position, but there were not many men in the middle of the field to get the ball to him.
And he's staying right on this right wing.
And Randall has tried to play that away and managed to draw the penalty.
You had the option to stay
Well,
flat.
now you go for a scrum.
Scrum.
I would.
And there's the call.
It's your choice to stand up there.
Because
You
they've
know
been
he's going
very
to pass
strong
right.
in the first half. Murphy will be the guy having a chat with Hard in his tight head. Yeah. And that just obviously attracts the Bristol forwards into that scrum. Randall's already got the ball. Pre-move will have been called. Holding again is walking out to this right-hand side.
Yeah. You're good there. Stay there. Stay there.
Wilcox is sort
Good
of
spacing.
standing in, so they're all lined up right, but it's up to excuse me, the front five fatties again. They have to produce this ball. They have to lock it out to allow Randall to launch something.
Set.
Hartpury backline.
Use it stationary.
Produce anything magical here to get a fifth try and close the gap. The initial burst and contact taken from Luke Eves. Murphy in there to help secure the ball. Got to be careful they don't get isolated as Bristol do try and come in, but they do enough for the clear out. And then it's Stratford, a man who's come off the bench. They're still looking forward on the far side, but Hartpury go route one straight through the middle of the ruck to begin with, and still they come. The forwards happy to pick and go at this stage, and Stratford again always met the mitts of Jordan Crane, who throws him back out the door. Murphy now places it. Forwards again trying to go through the middle. They've got to be careful that they can get that ball to ground, because in danger of conceding a turnover foolishly.
Ball's there.
Referee's having a look. It's there for Randall. Randall, oh, he dummied back in as if he was going to take it, and now he's thrown it out, and there's no winger there at all. That looked like a hemorrhage of thinking. Worrying signs for Bristol is that currently Sam Jeffries is down, looking in a bit of pain as that ball bobbles out from the kick downfield from Edwards. Well, that was bizarre, Dowie Morris.
That was a bit of brain freeze, unfortunately, from Randall there. And one slight mistake, and you're 80 metres down the field. He'll be playing in the blue of Bristol, so I'm sure the coach is next to me. He won't have liked that, but look, he's a quality player. Everyone's allowed to make a mistake. Andy Uren obviously will be competing for that 9 jersey next season, but again, just when you think they can go over and just keep it with the forwards. Murphy scored 2 tries from a very simple pick and drive, just grind people down. That's what Exeter, I think, they get one of the best backs in the Premiership, and that's what they do. They just go to what you know, and one slight mistake, he may have heard a call from somebody or whatever, throw the ball, bump. You've lost all that good work.
Well, I'm pleased to say that Sam Jeffries is back to his feet and rejoining the action, and changes are being made as well for Bristol onto the field. Alapati Leua and also Billy Searle, who replaces Callum Sheedy.
Okay, time on, and you come. More! 6-5, out you go! One shred!
They're going to start again, rebuild, but this will probably come through a box from Randall. That's good drive from Bristol, though, straight through the middle.
Yeah, Stratford goes around the near side. Tried to be the little incognito dart as all the attention was elsewhere. 11-point game.
Inside, Harry. That's not.
It's there for Randall. For a little low dart on that clearance. All that was needed. Bristol will have to go from there.
Just hold the throw. Hold the throw. Hold on. Hang on.
Bristol with it. Quentin Wells.
Right, let's go.
Once a Saracen in 2012. Making his 10th league appearance. He gets the arrows right there, and then it's in for Leua. Man who joined from Wasps. Got 8 tries in the Championship, so he might fancy the chances in the last quarter of this game to get himself on the score sheet and bag another meat pie or 2. Now it's Jordan Crane on that slightly wider stance where he popped through the gap earlier to set up Williams for Bristol's try. And there is Williams shipping it on. Lemmy lurking for it out there. Goes in and protects the ball, not under too much pressure, and it comes away again. And then it's Crane from Jeffries. They'll go back down the short side. Hurrell shovels it on for Jordan Williams. Now it's back from Uren in the 22. Uren again. Now looks through Billy Searle, playing his last game in Bristol colours. James Lay, well, helps to try and secure that ball, but he went off his feet over the top, and well, Hartpury could be a little bit hard done by there. There was a Superman effort over the top to secure possession there for Bristol, and it actually got nudged forward, so they got away with one.
Into the corner order of the day. Billy Searle, but again, Tonga, I think, is in a good game out there. They're getting the money's worth. I think he might be on for the full 80.
Billy Searle, one of those in the senior academy, played in 16 games during the season in the Premiership.
Fair enough, yeah.
It'll be the Gallagher Premiership by the time Bristol get there. They will be the Bristol Bears, of course, if news hasn't reached you. Bristol Rugby undergoing a bit of a brand redesign, and they will go into the Premiership as Championship promotional winners, and they will be Bristol Bears. Flat ball for Alapeti Leua. He just stopped, so had to rebuild the momentum, and his leg drive will help him do that. And then it's away from Uren again, and Crane gets the call to go out the back. Thought it was going to happen for Searle there. And Dan Murphy is there right on the spot, drawing attention to the fact that Bristol weren't able to get that ball to deck. Or in fact, I think it's more the fact that it was a holding on penalty.
Yeah, not releasing, not just holding on too long. He got slightly isolated because I think Searle saw the gap he went through, but unfortunately it was a great defensive play. Both Randall was obviously involved again, as he always is. The last line of defence.
Almost close enough for you to catch, Dowie Morris.
Yeah, nearly knocked somebody's pint out of their hands there.
Oh, that would have been criminal.
Terrible.
Luke Stratford, 12th appearance of the season. Goes for Dyer at the front, down quickly off the top and in through Randall. And then through Leeming. They go back from where it came. Little dummy from Stratford. That was a little bit of confusion in the middle, and the referee, Christoph Ridley, says he's happy to take a bit of responsibility. Former scrum half had his eye on joining in.
He's obviously played the game. He's playing the right position. But I've got to say, I've been very impressed with Christoph. He's all handling of the game. He has an empathy with the players. Obviously, he don't know how to play it, but he obviously has. I think he's made some very good decisions, especially with the advantage rule. He's an up-and-coming referee, and I think he's destined for big things.
Well, Suani Tonga is not going to be asked to play the full 80, but
we'll let him off.
We will let him off
lad.
indeed. And what a servant he has been to, Oyonnax, Northampton Saints famously for many years, and the Tongan plays his last game for Bristol on his 21st Championship appearance, and we wish him all the very best.
Okay, we didn't have an issue first off. So
Hartpury 24, Bristol 35, into the last quarter then.
Get the ball away.
Just over here, Pat Lamb possibly alongside us, just trying to get word onto the back line to push everyone up. They want the pressure.
He did get word on. You can see them all looking over. Yes, sir. What do you need? Oh, push me up. Right, okay. They've all pushed up now. 5 minutes of press.
Too much movement.
Trying to really sort of take this game away from Hartpury. All right, they're in the lead. 11 points, but another couple of quick fire tries, and that's it. It's job done. But you could see if they don't, Hartpury have the ammunition and the wherefore to come back in.
Just a bit more space. That's great.
The thing about making sure the defence comes to meet the attack rather than just waits for them to come to them.
Smash them, basically. You can put in any other technical term or
Samoan for smash them.
Yeah.
Crouch.
Don't give the opposition a chance. But the only problem with that, if you commit, you've got to do the right thing, because they've got some good skills, the Hartpury backs. They could just slip that ball in over the top, or just a decoy.
Nice and quick. That's yours.
But again,
That's his.
he's a big presence on the field, is Hurrell.
Referee just taking a few moments to get this one set.
Let's go, Hartpury, here we go, let's go, big quiet. Seconds!
Crouch!
You've got Holden standing in sort of, you've got Lehman this side. You just about see him in the picture, holding, standing in at 10. It's a free kick, continue to go. Oh!
Daryl Dyer will be fined for that this evening, you imagine.
Oh dear. I don't know about fine, but again,
tap and drop.
He's a good player. He knows, you don't have to say a word. It's a very good opportunity. The front five had earned him that, his front five forwards, and then he just sort of takes his eye off it. And look at that now, all of a sudden, from a great attacking position when they could have hoofed that ball, possibly, it was a free kick, to get a bit of position. And then now, in a defensive lineup, you've got David Lehman this side just on his own, you can't quite see it, you just see Andy Ewan looking over his shoulder. It would be nice for David to get his 140th appearance, that try, his last try. He's off to Rouen in France. I think my old nemesis Richard Hill is coaching out there, so he's going to do a couple of seasons, I believe.
And Richard Hill, who first signed him in 2005 for Bristol.
Yeah, and here he goes to his side. Go on, lad.
Now they break. Oh, it's back in field. Tackles come in. Lemmy is there waiting. Jordan Crane might think he's got there, and he has just got there, despite the Hartpury attempts to hold him up over the line. It is a try for Bristol, and it's one for the skipper, Jordan Crane, getting their 6th of the afternoon.
David Lemmy there, just tracking. It wasn't to be. Searle was through, didn't quite make it. And Jordan Crane, as ever. Here he goes, look at Lemmy. Is it going to come? The ball goes up. And Jordan Crane is a good dive, trying to make amends for that knock on from the free kick. And like I said, that one mistake, unfortunately, now has just leaked a 7-pointer.
Needed a teammate to help get that ball to ground, and that's what Crane got. Support was there. Noble effort from Dyer, defensively speaking. And Billy Searle will take 2 points.
He's coming back now.
Bristol up to 42.
Yeah,
That's the score, isn't it? Pop the pass up. You want people on your shoulder, just waiting for that person in front to make that decision, whether it's left, whether it's right. Now the game's gone, I think, from Hartpury. 15 to go, but again, they're a proud bunch. They want a couple of tries, hopefully, just to give the crowd something to cheer about, as they did in that first half. And that purple patch when they scored 3 tries.
Leaning with the restart. Bristol with the jump, but it ended up actually coming down behind the jumper and into the hands of Crane. Comes through Searle and Leua. He's got the dancing shoes on. Might be an option here for Lemmy. Little step on the outside, then cuts back infield. Beat his first man in a phone box every time, David Lemmy. Come a little wider. Tackles made over the halfway line. Crane in there to help clear it. Edwards had to be alert to the ball that had squirted out and get it away. Ewan again through Searle. Hurrell looking at the options. Eventually into the tackle of Dan Murphy.
Off feet now, Red.
Is the ball available? It is. Down the short side. Oh, that's a nice little show and go from Joe Joyce. And oh, he tried to feed it on to David Lemmy. Everybody in the stadium was urging him on to give it to David Lemmy.
Okay.
He'd done the hard work.
He had, to be honest. Joyce is a great turn of pace from the big fella, wasn't it?
Nice one, Nick. Thank you.
In his 6th season for Bristol, and if he'd have just been able to slip it the first time, unfortunately he couldn't get his hands free enough. They're desperately trying to get the ball to Lemmy. And that probably would be the only story they haven't told this year. If Lemmy scores in his last appearance, would be nice.
6 players I counted just 10 seconds ago, all down, having a full hamstring stretch.
Yeah, there's no call for
It's been a fair bit of running in the game, as the scoreboard would suggest, with 10 tries having gone down. Jack Capon then is onto the field for Bristol to make his championship debut, the Bristol Grammar School boy. And the replacement is Sam Graham, and then Malik Holden
Knock on.
is also making way, as is Dan Murphy for Hartpury.
Don't like being on that. What's wrong with that?
Played on for Bristol. I mentioned pre-game. Sixth brotherly pair to have played for Bristol when he made his competitive debut in October with brother Will. Can you name the rest?
I'm just going to ask you, because you have the stat. Can you name the other 5? I'm sure you can.
The Arscots,
Okay.
Contepomis,
Okay.
Penny Cooks, Slowicks and Urans.
Crouch.
Yep.
You'll have to trust me, won't you?
I'm trusting you, definitely.
Sorry, lads, these two
I
are
know
just
a
head
few
on
of them.
head.
I do know all of them.
Oh, we didn't have that until you came on. You're a loose head, so stay loose head, please.
We hope now this isn't going to go and just sort of dissolve into nothingness with 12 minutes to go of this fantastic season. I hope there's a few more scores. The forwards are just having, like I said, a mother's meeting just to make sure they're doing. But Bristol have done well. Again, if Hartpury were going to win this game, they'd have to have total dominance. It hasn't been that way. They've had a good scrum, don't get me wrong. There's a long way to go for Randall. That's a good push from Bristol. Disruptive push.
Scrum time just setting it where it slowed down a little, isn't it? But there are the likes of Bevington and Ollie Dorr who are on now for Bristol as well into that front row. And Hartpury fancying their chances of trying to run this out of the 22. Randall gets there to try and provide quick service. Back inside from Leeming. Comes out the back for Leeming. Eves was there looking for it, but now they're going to try and keep it alive and straightening up. We're going to get through the tackle. Ball is well released off the table. Rob Langley doing a job.
It was a great tackle from Fenton Wells coming across initially. Oh, turned it.
Ryan Bevington is on the floor having taken a bit of a knock, but Bristol have it currently. Now they come out wide. Searle, crossfield kick looking for Edwards. Chase goes back. Oh, it's well taken from Seabrook. Couldn't get the kick away cleanly.
Just thought he really took Edwards going for his hat trick there. He didn't get it, but Seabrook just getting up in the anything right. Has he got the wheels to do it?
Yeah, was there a knock on?
Hopefully.
Played a bit of England under 18s and 20s for Seabrook.
Be completely honest with me. Did you drop it to kick it?
Again, Bristol just doing enough. They're in the right areas, and this is kicking right. He was almost perfect, wasn't it, for Edwards coming from out to in, and then he's off. I thought he did. I wanted to see the replay, and you can see the frustration.
He dropped it.
I think there was cover coming across. He would know it all his own way, but he's just one of those things, just dropping the ball, just dropping out of his hands.
I thought from opposition it had been a misfired kick, but yeah, just he'd set off before he'd secured the ball.
There's Andy Irwin going off. He's had a good afternoon in the office, I must admit. And there's that, well, for me, Bristol's best player is on now in that position, Rodri Williams. I know he's going to the Dragons, an aspiration to play for Wales again, but I think he's been unbelievable. He's been phenomenal in everything he's done. Almost hardly makes a mistake. Maybe a big loss to Bristol, I'm sure they know that.
Yeah, 76 appearances for the Scarlets. This is his 21st league appearance. 11 tries he scored over the course of the campaign.
Just a natural. You can't coach it. He's just a natural. Free kick and off he goes.
Here come Bristol. Hurrell. Haven't seen too much of Hurrell punching into those holes. He's been giving it outside, providing a little bit more to try and get the back three into play.
No red.
Driving in and trying to secure it is Ollie Dorr. Now it's away with Williams. Shorter ball.
Tackle.
Attempt from Alex Craig to try and hold them up. Now they come again. There's a Hartpury body on the floor. Is it going to be Jordan Williams? It is. Worrying signs for Hartpury. I'm not quite sure who it is down, but I wonder if there may be a dislocation or something. There's been no movement on the arm.
Well, talking about one Williams, Rodri, another Williams, Jordan, who again is going to the Dragons next season. He's been outstanding also for Bristol Bears. And I thought at one point as you go in through there, it's a great rip. But he may have looked to his left. Good ball out the back, good angle. And those feet, we've seen those a few times. Left to right, right to left, it doesn't matter. I thought maybe he looked to his left. David Lemmy was out there, maybe a little lob pass, not to be.
You just want him to be given it.
I do. It would be
no problem.
You and Melly, I'm sure.
Well, how long we go back? 8 minutes. He is going to stay on. He got a tremendous round of applause when he came off against Doncaster. It wasn't going to be his night. Moynihan, as I said, the Australian got 4 tries. They couldn't give it today. It was just one of those games.
Jordan Williams gets his second of the afternoon. Conversion will take Bristol a point shy of the 50-point mark.
9.
I don't know whether it's Alex Craig who might be down. It's one of the tall ones.
Well,
interesting chatting to Justin Smith, one of the Hartpury conditioning coaches during the week, telling me that Alex Craig regularly tops the stats in terms of tackles, carries, work rate. Big influencer on the game.
Just cast my eye as we look at this convert. Well, we're not going to have the conversion yet. Tongawia's back on, so it's all a merry-go-round there, and it will be for the next 7 or so.
It's in fact Ian Grieve who's getting some attention.
He's been, again, one of the outstanding forwards for Hartpury. Saw that early try, and he's carried superbly all afternoon.
I think he's got a bit of a stinger. Just looking like he's searching for a bit more feeling in that arm after having made a tackle.
Time back on. I'm okay, thank you though.
So back with the conversion attempt. Slotted. Hartpury 24, Bristol up to 49.
No, you say, John, just look to your left. No, David was out there. He does the right thing, don't chance it. It's one of those instincts you have, and he likes scoring a try, and he scores some superb ones. Like I said, length of the field or from 8 metres or so, it doesn't really matter. Just that line is created for you, just pick on it.
Leeming with the restart. And Soali Tongawiya.
Yeah, I told you. He was having a cup of tea, and they said, no, not yet.
Knock on, red.
You've got a £5.50 in you.
Assume if Soali Tongawiya has a cup of tea, there's meat in it.
That's for you.
We're back to Bovril again, aren't we?
Yeah, no. Or any other yeast-based lovely warming drink.
Crouch.
So Stadium clock has 6.5 minutes left. Our clock as good an estimation as we've got on 75 or 6 minutes remaining. Randall shoved a little by Rodney Williams. Scrum halves in opposition lose no love to each other. Then it was away. Oh, now it's in the hands of Rodney Williams, and he couldn't be caught. There was
no arms tackle.
Yeah, or was it a player taken out without the ball? Either way, it's going to be a scrum to Hartpury. The Bristol fans who have travelled up to Hartpury not too happy that Rodney Williams wasn't allowed to scamper away.
He would have gone. He's got that much pace. Here it comes. Randall out to Leeming.
I thought it was stationary first.
I don't see anything wrong in that.
No, I can't either.
The referee we haven't got the referee in our ears today, but Rodney Williams, I think, would have been under the posts. There's Harry Randall's off. His day is done. His service has been outstanding for Hartpury.
9, stay on side.
Hartpury moved Luke Eves over to the right-hand wing here. And they've got Wilcox in the line.
Stand up.
Along with Leeming. Interesting to see what options they choose to take.
Head, so you come inside his head, and you go outside his head. Come on.
Harry Cochrane is now looking after things from the scrum half position. To his left, he's got Ed Sheldon as well. Ed Sheldon
Let's go, Hartpury, here we go. Let's go, big bird. Come on. Let's see that shot.
missed the first month of the season, joined last summer.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Ball squirts out. It's there for Cochrane and then on to Sheldon. Sheldon still going. Cochrane goes digging for it.
No blue.
Number 22. Bristol do a really good job of driving Mike Fluke back, don't they? Cochrane is actually the assistant groundsman here at Hartpury, is Harry Cochrane. Gets a bit of ribbing from his teammates for that. Darryl Dyer, and he's driven back. Needs someone to take it out, but Bristol changed the defence into attack, and then it's Rhodri Williams, and then Jordan Crane spotting the opportunity to start getting Bristol going again, and now Crane, he's spotted there was nobody there down the touchline, gives them more go forward. Williams, now they might have an opportunity. Oh, it's been dropped. Was that backwards? Referee says not. Well. Will Howell has just got a look on his face that says there was surely a tryout here for either me or David Lemmy. But we will have the scrum to Hartpury. Dowie Morris, a chance to check in with you on your Greene King IPA player of the match.
I think if Ryan Edwards has carried on his performance in the second 40 as in the first 40, he would have been. He isn't, unfortunately. He's a guy I gave man of the match when they played Nottingham up there. It's the captain today. It's Jordan Crane again. I think the forwards have gone well, but again, his just outright experience in that pivotal role at 8, knowing when to give the ball to the backs, actually just cutting angles when they needed to do, just on people's shoulders, cajoling people. That's why Gordon Crane is my Greene King IPA man of the match.
Crouch. Find.
Other people may differ, I am sure, as they normally do, but I just think he has been one of the reasons I think that they've got finally over the line. Just those 10 decade of experience at Leicester Tigers, and just knows where to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that little break as well, we saw his vision of where the defence would be looking when he actually came up and made that little pick and go down the short side.
Tackle's complete. You've rolled, stood up.
Just exemplifying that experience and knowing where to take advantage. Searle kicks it into the corner to potentially treat us to one last try.
Right, what you need to do now, so you put David Lemmy in the line out, and he jumps for the ball gets slipped, he comes right round and then attaches himself and then goes over.
I like it. Maybe we could get Sam Jeffries to lift him up. Oh, he's not gone into the line out, Dowie.
No, but he's standing right behind Rhodri Williams. Jordan Crane is there, and it normally goes, oh, come on.
Well, it's gone backwards.
We've still got a chance.
Crane low into the tackle of Stratford.
Quick left now. Quick left.
The only man out there, Tongawiya, gets shipped on. Taken by Rhys Oakley. You'd almost like Hartpury just to wave him through, even if he was given the ball, wouldn't you? I'm not sure that's going to happen. No. Alex Craig. Or Joe Joyce coming forwards. Oh, and now the break from Rhodri Williams. Dives over the line. Always capable of creating something from nothing. Such is the electric pace that he's got.
Again, and that eye for a gap. Hartpury has spent force now. Bristol, the superior side. Right at the end of this game, and that wasn't much of a show and go. The guard men aren't on duty. There's a massive hole there. He only needs a small area to burst through the best of times, and I don't think we're going to get the swan song. I don't think we're going to get the final story with David Lemmy scoring. It doesn't matter. Bristol have won this game very handsomely. We've got 22 seconds on our, well, not on our clock, as you can see in the top right. There's 22 seconds on the Hartpury scoreboard in my far right, and the job has been done. The beach is calling, whether it's Barley, whether it's Benidorm, or whether it's Blackpool. It won't really matter.
Bognor.
Bognor, anything with a B, anything with a letter in the front of it. My goodness me, the guys have deserved it. Have a good rest, have a good 4 weeks, because pre-season starts in a month for Bristol in that rarefied air of the Premiership.
You'd have a flight booked this evening, wouldn't you?
Oh my word.
24 place 56 then. Bristol comprehensively getting the job done.
But again, you've got to mention Hartpury. They've been a fantastic outfit. They could have won 3 or 4 games. I know everyone says could have, should have, would have, by a point or a last minute score. They're a proud bunch, and they've been brilliant. They've consolidated themselves in this championship, and he's going to get another one.
Rhodri Williams careers into the corner and brings up Another couple of tries for his tally through this fixture, 13 for the season overall. He's up to now, and that's 2 in 2 minutes.
Well, Bristol's lost is the Dragons' gain, and this boy, I'm sure, will play for Wales again. He's got everything that's needed: pace, vision, skill.
That's time, lads.
And he's just shown that in what, 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes since he's been on, 2 scores. Now you don't need to celebrate, but the Bristol supporters are up. David Lemmy's going off for that well-deserved round of applause. No, he's not. He's taking the kick.
He's being given the opportunity to try and take 2 points. You wanted him on the score sheet, Dowie Morris.
Okay, come on now, take your time. I don't know how much practice he's done. I know he has played 9 before. He's in a pivotal role of now at 10. This to win the World Cup, David. This to win the World Cup for Samoa.
9 tries scored from Bristol today. David Lemmy yet to be on the score sheet.
Go on.
Can he do it with the last kick of the game?
Oh!
You almost wanted the assistants to put their flags up anyway, didn't you? Well, the final whistle is blown. Over the 60-point mark, and they do it comfortably in the end. That second half they really took off, and well, a brace of tries for the likes of Edwards, the likes of Jordan Williams and Rhodri Williams, who came off the bench as well, opened their account through Andy Uren. And of course Hartpury, well, at one stage they got up to 17 points to 7 in that first half. They gave away the lead just before the break, and then Bristol turned it on. They obviously listened intently to the half-time team talk of Pat Lam. There wasn't going to be one foot on the beach. It was get out there, get the job done, and let's make sure that this is a season with 21 victories and just the 1 loss, which it has turned out to be. A good display from Hartpury, certainly. They played with the sort of positivity that we know that John Barnes wanted to see when we spoke pre-match, certainly for that first 40 minutes and 50 minutes, but they succumbed to the power of Bristol in the end, Howie.
Well, there's 2 stories here. Again, the word is consolidation, and I've got to give credit to John Barnes, you mentioned in there, Mark Cornwall, John Goodridge, Chris Forty, who organises the forwards. You know, they wanted to come, they've come back up into, they've come to this division, they wanted to stay there, they have done that, they finished 10th, they could have finished high, it doesn't matter, they've got something to build on, they've got fantastic facilities down here, it's a great story. Equally, Bristol, if you give them 10th, now for this time next year winning the Premiership, they bite your hand off. Tremendous outfit on the field and on the off field as well, and you've got Steve Lansdowne behind them, the owner, that's helping to finance the drive towards Premiership glory.
Well, great scenes as Bristol, well, they had the chance to celebrate, of course, at Ashton Gate with the result against Doncaster, and to throw the silverware and the champagne around. They got a guard of honour when they walked onto the field from Hartpury, as of course the Greene King IPA champions, but they're going to get one as they exit the field as well. And well, we'll be hoping to grab a word with our Greene King IPA player of the match, the Bristol skipper Jordan Crane, very shortly, as we can look at some of the highlights from the second half if you've just joined us. And I'll leave you with Darry and pop down pitch side.
You get yourself down there, fella, and we'll have a little look at these tries again. Edwards again, he was on the radar for the Greene King IPA man of the match. He was wanting that ball, he got it loads of times in that first half. A couple of cheeky tries, that was a good kick pass to him, and then there was a wee bit of a wobble from Bristol halfway through that first half, but then the power, the carriers happening. This time they missed 3 forwards out, Andy Uren, straight to Jordan Crane, and he always seems to be there on a great angle there. Williams able just to follow in from the big ex-Leicester Tiger that's just created the gap. It's actually creating the gap, getting your arms free and popping up, and then really it was a conveyor belt. That's the try again. We see beautiful play, just pop that cherry ball up, everyone take an angle, come back on that shoulder, and that's what you're able to do. And this was Hartpury's score that I think should have been. It was Holden to Wilcox, back to Holden. I think that was a forward pass. Pat Lamps definitely thought so. That's a tremendous tackle from Edwards defensively. But again, That is Harry Randall, who is Bristol bound, Ashton Gate bound at the end of the season. And there we go. It wasn't going to be David Lemmy's day today, unfortunately. Jordan Crane scoring a try. Ball popped up to him this time, gratefully received and had the strength to put it down. It was Searle making the break. He couldn't quite do it himself. Pops the ball down. And again, another Williams. Rodri comes back on, and this time just ball out the back, ball out the back. Jordan Williams scores it. Just power and a lot of pace, a lot of good vision, and that's what Bristol want to do. They want to play this ball out the back door, and then he can do it. And if the defensive line is quite passive, it's easy to do distribution-wise. Williams, again, you don't give him that much space. He's through, just come on, scores one, and you think that was going to be the end of it. It wasn't. He sees it, and there he goes, sticks an arm out. It wasn't going to go to Langley. He's under the posts, and now we go down to Nick, who has man of the match, Jordan Crane with him.
Well, delighted to be joined by Jordan Crane, skipper of Bristol. And Jordan, you guys had to come out firing second half. You weren't having it all your own way, certainly.
No, Hartpury, you know, we knew what it was going to be like. They were going to come out, they wanted to beat us, you know, they had plenty to play for. So, you know, it's pleasing the way that we came out second half and did a good job.
What pleased you the most about the performance? The fact that you were able to keep that concentration at this point in the season, when arguably people would have sympathy for the fact that you've got the job done already.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you think complacency could creep in, but the driving force was that we didn't want to finish the season on a low, and then you've got to go away, and you've got 4 months till your next game. So the ambition was always to finish on a high, and there's a few guys playing their last games for the club, so you know, we wanted to send them out the right way as well.
Yeah, so tell us, how do celebrations continue today? Then I understand you've got a glitzy bash tonight.
Yeah, so we had a few after we lifted the trophy the other night, but a bit more of a civilised affair tonight. You know, get the whole club together and some of the fans, and you know, we've got a nice black tie do back at Ashton Gate, so that'll be nice.
Excellent. Well, if you're doing any preloading before you get there, you can be very happy that you are the Greene King IPA Championship Man of the Match. Many congratulations. Enjoy what I imagine is a fairly short off-season before you'll be back and getting ready for next one.
Yeah, no, we've got to come back in top shape to take on the Prem, and we've got to hit the ground running. So it's going to be a tough off-season, but you know, something that we're looking forward to.
Brilliant. Go and enjoy yourself, and get the plaudits, of course, of the fans who are over on the far side. Very, very happy to cheer on Bristol Rugby, and of course they will be moving into the Premiership as the Bristol Bears next season. And of course a few people getting their autographs as well. So Bristol running out fairly comfortably this afternoon. Winners here against Hartpury. Hartpury, who well, nearly had the chance of that lead at half-time, but just that little moment of trying to go for that drop goal, and then it went up the other end, and Bristol, well, second half, scoring 9 tries in total, running out convincing winners here at Hartpury. We hope you've enjoyed all of the live streaming coverage that we've been able to bring you from the Greene King IPA Championship. Of course, there is the Tyrrell's Premier 15s final tomorrow. You can watch that on the England Rugby Facebook page as well. My thanks to Dowie Morris and to all of you for tuning in. We'll be back with more live action very shortly, but for now, from all of us here, it's a very good afternoon.